Hey, what's up guys, Lockhart here, bringing you his Azor Ahai build. This is a Destro Sword and Board setup. It was also featured in kodipvp top 5. I've gotten a lot of messages about it. I've kind of ignored them because I didn't really want to go over this build because I don't want to play against it. It's really good. It's a pretty high skill cap build. So if you're kind of new to Sorcerer, I definitely wouldn't try to play this. The gear setups does take a little bit of farming, so there's that. All right, so let's hop right into it, guys. Okay, so here's our character sheet. 2k crit resist, this on our back bar buffed. We have 1700 magic recovery, 1100 stamina recovery, almost 40k max. The 1700 magic recovery is more than enough with the sets we're running. You'll see that in just a moment. Currently we're running Witch Mother's Brew. Also running the Serpent. I just like having a shit ton more stam. You can definitely get away with running the Mage, the Thief, Shadow. You don't need Atro, trust me guys. Alright, so let's go over the sets. Using Shackle Breaker. This is on our front and back bar. Okay. Running the weapon damage enchantment because in the Horns of the Reach patch, Azos is nerfing the shit out of the Daedric enchantment by, I think, 36%. So it's not useless, but it's pretty much useless. I could also run Nern Toned, I guess. Infuse. I mean, it's totally up to you guys. I'm just sticking with Sharpen because Spell Pin is going to be really important in this patch. Our back bar, we have a Sword of the Shackle Breaker with a Disease enchantment on it. The Disease is getting a buff because it's, of course it reduces the healing, and it's also going to reduce health recovery, for those Troll King and health recovery builds. So the other set we're running is the Lich. This shouldn't be too hard to get. You find it in Crypto Hearts. I got lucky and got this drop a few months ago. We only have this on the back bar just for the proc. And since we're running Sword and Board, this frees up an extra slot in our gear. So that means we can run a monster set. You can pick and choose where the hell you want to run here. I personally, in open world, prefer 2 Infernal Guardian. I don't have impin on this, but that's okay. This is essentially 22,000 damage. Pretty much every time you apply a ward, every 6 seconds. That's assuming all of them hits. This hits really hard, guys. Especially when 2 or 3 people's on you, it hits a whole group of people. It's a super good defensive / offensive set. But for right now, I'm just going to have on Kina. Running all impin. And for our jewelry, running spell damage. Alright, so what makes this build hard to play is the bar setup, and our back bar is where you have to really pay attention. The front bar, not so much. We'll go with the front bar first. We got frags. We got curse. Got inner light. Crushing shock. Definitely staying with crushing shock over force pulse from now on, guys. I have streak on the front bar. You don't necessarily have to have streak on your front bar. You can put this on your back bar and possibly swap out either Power Surge or Lightning Form, but you definitely need Streak. We have Shooting Star. I prefer this morph because there's still a lot of vampires that play, and you get a lot of ulti gen from it. Alright, so on our back bar, this is pretty much going to be unchanged. There's not so much of a flex spot on this. Unless you're in duels, of course, and you're against the stand build, you probably don't want to run spell wall. But other than that, so let's go over Dark Conversion. Great utility. We have 1100 stamina regen with almost a 14k stamina pool. If you haven't noticed, this build does lack a reliable heal, so this is semi-reliable, assuming you're not getting hit by 8 or 9 people and you're getting Crushing Shock spammed where you can't even get one off. We have double bar wards, hardened. Harness is too good over dampen. It has 3 instances of 1200 magic a return that pretty much pays for the spell itself, and you're blocking 16k worth of damage. So what makes this build good and keeps our health capped off is the combination of Power Surge and Boundless Storm. Power Surge is, of course, your spell damage buff, and in addition, every crit that you get is going to hit you for 2,500. This can also crit. So Boundless Storm, this is the great synergy. So you get your major resolve, major ward, get your major expedition, and you constantly do dot damage around you, shocking the shit out of everyone. So every crit that you get when this is up, of course, a 1 second cooldown, you're healing yourself for 2,500. This is our main source of healing. And when you get a chance to take a breather, Dark Conversion also restores health in addition to magic. Our ultimate on our back bar, it's pretty much never going to change for open world. You can use this offensively or defensively. This reflects spectral bows, frags. I mean, it's hella good. When you think someone's going to go in for burst on you, just pop this and counter initiate, and they're gone. Assuming you give a frag proc or something. Kind of some things to note. And of course my phone's going off during the build video. You could alternately run the Atro or Mines in place of Boundless Storm, but like I said, you're going to be kind of lacking heals a little bit. You definitely want all your passive guys, especially from the Destro tree. And even your sword and board, you don't have to have all of them from the sword and board tree. You definitely want Fortress, sword and board, obviously, and deflect bolts. Deadly bash and battlefield mobility is kind of a waste of points. I do find myself bashing every now and then, so that's pretty good. All right, so let's go over the champion system. It's pretty mundane. It's pretty typical Sorc setup. 51 to Warlord, 49 Arcanist. We have 27 in the Mooncalf, since we have such a high stamina recovery. We have 51 into Tumbling, 32 into Shadow Ward. If you're blocking correctly on your back bar, you don't need this many points, and it's Shadow Ward. You could probably put them into Befoul to help, with your disease enchantment on your back bar. This is going to be a really good skill to spec into come next patch when they do buff it. I'm 51 to Elfborn, 49 to Ellie Expert, 44 into Spell Erosion. You can probably take some points out of Elfborn, toss in Spell Erosion. Spell Erosion is super important, and it's going to be more so in Horns of Reach. Cannot stress that enough. 66 to Master of Arms. This helps with your frags, your Crushing Shock. Also helps with your weaves, so I really put more points in here instead of putting some points in the Staff Expert, since Staff kind of double dips into this. None in this tree. 72 in Ironclad. Unless you're running Shuffle Unchained passive, I would always have 72 points into this. This is pretty much any source of damage anyone's ever going to hit you with is direct damage. And of course there's dots, but it's splitting hairs. Got 49 to Ellie Defender, 23 into Hardy. I don't have issues with stamina builds, so I adjust accordingly. The hardest hitting builds, of course, Nightblades, so I put a lot more points into here. Last but not least, with 66 points into Bastion, you could lower this down a little bit. You're pretty tanky, even when your shields drop, so don't be afraid to let them drop, to be more offensive. Alright, so that about does it for the build video, guys. I try to keep it short, around 10 minutes. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I will be uploading some open world clips on this Sword and Board build just to show you guys. Again, it's not shit, okay? It's a hard build to play, but once you get used to it, it's fucking phenomenal. So this has been Lockhart with his Azor Ahai build. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.